Hi everyone, it's your girl 𝕗𝕒𝕚𝕤, and the topic of today is the false twin flame. And I am absolutely terrified to talk about this. This is actually part of the reason why I never wanted to talk about twin flames on my channel, was because of the false twin and the reason behind why twin flames are so popular nowadays. And people would be like, oh, well, how is it's the false twin that's making twin flames so popular and made, the whole twin flame phenomenon into what it is now. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of us have unhealed wounds. A lot of us go through went through life, experienced dark traumas, bad relationships with family members, certain things that made us look at the world differently and causes us to find or look for love in the wrong places, or feel like we need to chase love, or find approval in someone else. And it's all subconscious. A lot of this goes back to, I hate to say, like the mommy daddy issues, just things in our past that told us that we could not be loved, or showed us what love was, but was really an unhealthy form of love. So anyways, I don't want to talk too much about that, but I do recommend, if you are struggling with something like this, to look up limerence to get kind of a better idea of what it is. I mean, I'm not a psychologist. Like I always say, I never went to school for anything to do with mental health, anything. This is just from my experiences, as well as what I've seen online, read about online. Because I'm going to be completely honest, I definitely was a part of the whole false twin. I definitely had that experience, and it went on for far too long. I even knew during it that it wasn't, I couldn't say that I knew that they weren't my twin, but I was so certain that this person was my twin flame that no one could tell me different. And I'll tell you something interesting, is that I actually went to a psychic years before who told me exactly what this person would look like. And they're like, this is your twin flame. You're going to have a lot of strange similarities, yada, yada, yada. And they were not wrong. We had a lot of strange similarities. Every time I thought about them, I'd see synchronicities would happen. I'd see repeating numbers. I saw repeating numbers constantly. I had dreams of them. I had telepathy with them. I definitely believe it was a past life. I mean, I was shown by spirit that it had to do with past life, right? So when it comes to the false twin, and I've said this in previous videos about the karmic and, unhealthy unions, unhealthy relationships, is that part of the reason why it's so hard to walk away is because it takes your energy. It takes your energy. You're not getting anything out of it. At least when you have the twin flame and, you have the separation, you may have said things to one another that were bad. You may have had a bad ending. Maybe you didn't, but I'm just saying, because a lot of people will compare that to the false twin. They'll say, oh, well, your twin flame did this and you guys separated and then you guys came back and look at how you are now. Yeah, but even in separation, you still gained, you still went through the Kundalini. You still had the spiritual ascension symptoms. Yes, you went through dark night of the soul, but you eventually changed, and you eventually, got into inner alignment, hopefully. But you didn't lose anything. Even with the soul shock, you didn't lose anything. But with the false twin, the best way that I can describe it is, the false twin is the black hole. And you just keep throwing things into the black hole, expecting something to get something back. Not anything physical, not anything literal, but you keep putting energy into this person who doesn't return anything back. They're not giving you that reassurance. They're not saying, oh, I care about you. They might a little bit. I've heard of some people being immersed with the false twin, and their false twin would text them once every 2 weeks. And they would try to get together, and the false twin would either cancel or there was always something that was keeping them apart. And the false twin wasn't really doing much. They breadcrumb them and that was it. But this person was so fixated on the attention that they would get that it became their whole life, because they're like, oh, well, that's what happens with the twins. They're just running. Don't worry. They're just running this. They're afraid of love. They're afraid of this. And this is what I will say to people that are struggling right now, because there's 3 things that you will experience if you have found your true twin flame. And I want you to listen with your mind, not your heart. because your heart can lead you in the wrong direction, and it will lead you in the wrong direction if you're just looking for synchronicities, looking for repeating numbers, seeing their name everywhere. Forget all that. There's 3 things I will ask you, and you need to be honest with yourself and really, really ask yourself, have I experienced these 3 things with this person? And especially if you've been chasing after this person for years, these are things that happen generally quickly when you find your twin. Like, these are things that happened to me a couple days after, like maybe a day after I started talking to my twin. So if you're chasing after this person and you can't stop thinking about them, and it's been going on for years, actually not even years, it's been going on for weeks, days, I won't say days, we'll say weeks, weeks, then, there's something more going on. They could very well be a karmic. But anyways, I'm just going to get into the 3 things. So the top thing I always say is the Kundalini. The Kundalini is undeniable. There's nothing you need to do with your twin to cause the Kundalini to become activated. There's twins that live in completely different continents, different countries, different parts of the world, have never touched each other, just talk through texting or video chat, and they still experience the Kundalini. Okay, so don't say, oh, they live over there and I live over here. Oh, we only got together once, and that distance, time does not matter in the spiritual world. This is a completely 100% spiritual connection that is orchestrated by God, by the universe, and it is your higher selves that are doing the spiritual work of all this, right? So if you didn't experience Kundalini, probably not your twin. Okay, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't feel bad. Don't get angry. This is all a lesson. Like I said, I fell for a false twin as well. And it went on for far too long. It was not healthy. All it did was take my energy, make me feel depressed, have low self-esteem, set me back in so many different ways. And I'm not blaming this person. No, I'm not blaming this person. These were all things that I needed to heal within myself, right? And then as time went on and I let that go and I moved on with my life, then Spirit showed me that, yes, I did have a past life with this person. It didn't work out then, definitely didn't work out in this one. So, don't feel angry. Don't feel like you're dumb. Don't feel like you made a huge mistake or you wasted your life. All this is a lesson, okay? So don't feel foolish. The other thing I'm going to say is, did you experience any spiritual ascension? I'm not talking about repeating numbers. I'm not talking about seeing their name. I'm not talking about having dreams where they run to you and hug you and say they love you. Forget all that. Did you experience any spiritual ascension symptoms? Did your life get better in any way? I guarantee it did not. Okay? Again, you need to be very honest with yourself. Don't say, oh, I felt love like I never felt before. I don't care. Did it make your life better? I highly doubt it. Okay? So remember that. The last point I'm going to say is, when you are with your twin flame, your higher self is very involved. Is very, very involved. I can tell you that my higher self, when I look back on my false twin flame experience versus the real twin flame, like I said, my higher self was very, very involved. The false twin, when I look back, I'm like, my higher self was not there whispering, telling me what to do. It was me connecting these fake dots that were like, okay, I just thought about them and I just saw 222 on a license plate. Okay, I keep thinking about them and I keep seeing the same repeating numbers when I'm at work, and I see and you're a spiritual being, you're going to manifest a lot of different things on this journey, right? But I noticed when it comes to the false twin, your higher self is nowhere to be seen, because your higher self wants nothing to do with a karmic, wants nothing to do with a person, place, or thing that just drains your energy and brings out the dark side of you. Because that's what they do. I mean, yes, there can be very, strong lessons. They can definitely push you into your purpose, but your higher self really isn't there. Even with my twin flame, there was times where I'm like, oh my God, look what my twin did. Look at what they said. Look at this, look at that. And my higher self would defend them and say, well, they are you and you did similar things. Right? But I don't want to talk too much about that, because I don't want people to hear this and say, oh, well, my false twin. No. Your higher self will not be there. It'll be you thinking that it's there, sending these repeating numbers, sending synchronicities, dreaming of them, thinking that you're having telepathic experiences with them. Like, trust me, there's a reason why, like I said, there's a reason why twin flames are so popular now. And there's a lot of us walking around wounded, looking for love, falling in love with the wrong person, you know, and having these harsh lessons. So if you think that you're chasing after a false twin, or if you think you found your twin flame, I want you to watch this video a couple times and really, really take it in. Okay? If you haven't experienced Kundalini, if you haven't experienced any spiritual ascension, if you truly do not hear your higher self, because your higher self is so involved in the whole twin flame, you know, experience, then they're not your twin flame. And I really wish people would stop giving so much energy to this person, because all it does is drain you. All it does is push you off your path. It makes life more difficult. You're more depressed than you are happy. You're running on that dopamine high where when they text you, you're like, oh my, you're so happy. You're like, you can jump over the moon. You're so happy. And then when you don't hear from them, it's just like, oh, it's okay. They're just running. They're just afraid of love. I can't blame them, because they're just afraid of love. You know, they've been through a lot. They never met their mom, or their dad was abusive. Stop making excuses for this person. Okay? So I don't know if I'm going to post this video, because I know this is going to trigger some people, but Spirit has been pushing me to make this, because there's a lot of people out there hurting, and there's a lot of people out there that are literally chasing somebody that don't care about them. And actually, I don't want to say they don't care about them, but they're an energy vampire, you know, they're a karmic, they're a false twin, and all they're doing is taking your energy. And I really want you to live your best life. So I think that's it for this video. I love you guys so much. Take care.